Welcome to the Personal Development Mastery Podcast. Stand out, don't fit in. Today I am delighted to be speaking with Genecia Alluora. Genecia, you are an experienced and successful businesswoman as well as former Miss Singapore. You are also a speaker and you have shared the stage with great minds like Gary Vaynerchuk and Kim Kiyosaki. You are the founder of Soul Rich Woman, the number one female online business network in Southeast Asia that connects thousands of women entrepreneurs and aims to equip them with the right support, tools, and knowledge to run their own business and bring their leadership brand online. Genecia, welcome to the show. I'm super excited and privileged to be speaking with you today.
Thank you, Agi. Thanks for having me on your show.
It's my pleasure, really. So let me start, Genecia. You've had an extraordinary journey. So you've gone from a beauty queen to the owner of a café chain with franchises in 3 countries to now supporting and mentoring thousands of women. So give me a key defining moment in this journey, especially related to your personal development.
The key defining moment for me is eventually discovering my big why I'm doing the things that I'm doing. Having done a cafe retail chain in 3 countries, Singapore, Malaysia, and Indonesia, an offline business that requires millions of dollars to set up with 18 franchisees and licensees was an eye-opening experience. And even though I enjoyed the business experience, but I never really found my soul in the business, which means even though I could do PR and marketing with my other partners who run different parts of the business, eventually we exited to a public listed company owner. I just felt that something was missing. So the moment when I knew that my calling was to step up and rise up and help other women find their purpose, their F word, which is being fabulous, having freedom, financial independence, and family through bringing their brands online, bringing their business online. That was the moment where I knew that I could do something and pivot into something that I actually love. Mm-hmm. So that was how I started Soul Rich Woman. Mm-hmm. I never had business experience. In fact, Agi, I was an occupational therapist. I'm in the medical field. I have never had business training before. But all these has taught me that if you found your why, the how becomes possible.
Mm-hmm. That's great. You've already mentioned quite a few things that I want to go into more detail. But before I do that, because you mentioned a moment when you discovered your why. Was that really a moment, or was it a period of time, or was it just like a light bulb moment, as we say?
It was really a light bulb moment, because that moment where even there are different types of businesses out there and how we translate our purpose and passion into the reality. So even though I knew I was meant to be an entrepreneur, but what kind of businesses are we meant to do? So am I meant to empower more women? Is it through speaking and coaching? Is it running an offline retail chain business? What do I really want? And in that moment when I ran my cafe retail chain business, I knew that this path is only temporary. I was meant for something more. There was a calling that that called for me and said, hey, there is something that you need to fulfill. So that was that aha moment.
And I understand what you mean. The only reason why I'm sticking with this question is because I'm very fascinated about these kinds of moments, because I've had my own. I know many people can relate to when something hits them and then all of a sudden they make a decision that completely changes the path of their life. So I want also to ask about your personal journey as an entrepreneur. I read that you went from a debt of 6-figure debt to becoming a millionaire in a short period of time. And my question is, what do you think are the main elements of your mindset that allowed for that to happen?
I think the first part is all about addressing your inner money mindset. I think a lot of us don't like to look at numbers. I mean, for me, because my downfall was I didn't really look at numbers. I trusted people too easily, went into a failed partnership that caused me to be in six-figure debt. So that in all was, never really to go into business with friends, and really have a legal contract and knowing what is what from happening. But the main thing, the mindset piece here is really looking into your numbers. What are you expense on? What are you spending on? Every single dollar and every single cent. You're not being a miser here. But hey, if you want to do a business and eventually get out of your debt and be successful, you have to find out where are your holes on the boat before you sink, right? If the boat has already sunk, get on another one and make sure the boat doesn't sink again. So if you have that in mind, then fix all your expenses, your subscriptions, every single thing, list it out. Take a pen and paper and put it all down. So that mindset piece is to look into what can I now write it out. Everything that I have, what do I have? Because whatever that is in front of you, the numbers tell all. From there, I reinvested back into my business, and that's how I grew my business. So have a growth mindset, then a blame victim mindset, then saying that it's that business partner's fault that caused me to be in six-figure debt. Instead, I looked at it from another perspective. If I had not gone through that journey, I would not appreciate my business growth that much even more.
That's great. Did you have any moments when you were at that date that you felt overwhelmed or panicked about the situation? Or are you always the optimist time that somehow I'm going to figure it out?
Of course, I was depressed and I didn't know where to go or what to do. I have no business experience. And I wanted to commit suicide because six-figure is not a small sum. And where am I going to find the money to pay back all the suppliers, right? And everybody is chasing after me. And that moment, I just felt really lost. So the key thing here is to always ask for help. So I went and asked for help from my entrepreneur friends, not to borrow money, because that's what a lot of people do. Oh, my boat is sinking, my ship is sinking. Come, help me to patch it up. No, rather I asked, what would you advise me to do differently about my situation now? Can you guide me through my depression? Can you guide me through my thoughts? So I managed to find someone whom has gone through bankruptcy, like worse than me, gone through the debts, bankrupt, and he's now a multi-millionaire. And he coached me on my mindset, how to get out of depression, handling the debtors, creditors, and then slowly climbing out of the black hole, eventually standing firmly on the ground with my both feet.
That's great. And you said, I'm going to go back to that moment you said where the defining moment. And that was when you realized that your path was elsewhere and you wanted to empower women. And you say that this a part of that was your journey fueling your passion to help empower women. So can you tell me a bit more about that?
At that moment when I was doing the cafe business, I was just doing that business as a business owner. And I didn't felt that I was passionate about coffee, even though I was running a cafe retail chain. But I'm not passionate about it. But it's always crunching the numbers and looking at how many franchise we have. And then, what's the profit? And I mean, this is part of building a cafe retail chain. And that defining moment I was just sitting there one day. I'm just like, okay, what is it that I really want in life? And do I see myself doing this? Because in the morning, you have to go in and when at the start of the business, it's always in the morning, you have to go in, you have to oversee the business, oversee the managers, and you have to look at the franchise and the different outlets. And there are so many things to look at. So at that point, I just felt, okay, I think there is something that's not right. So that was a spark, like a domino effect that instigated the aha moment. And when the aha moment happened was when I had some time, because I was based in Indonesia. and I was overseeing the franchise in Indonesia market. And I had free time in the evening because I had the manager, I had the franchisees running the show. So I turned on my computer and webcam. And back then I was using Google Hangouts. And that was 2012, 2013. And I just went on live and I shared my business experience through webinars. And that was during nighttime. Every Wednesday at 9 p.m., I was there sharing my experience. And it was that moment where I just, that weeks of sharing, that I just felt that, hey, I love this more than what I'm doing right now. And I'm like, okay, that's weird. I mean, that cafe business is multi-million-dollar business. Why am I looking at something that's digital and then that is online? And that was how I moved into the space where I knew that that was the time I should go into the other business, pivoting into the other business. And the time came where I was able to sell the business, which was a cafe retail chain. We exited. So it was very timely. If God didn't allow that, it would not happen. We probably would not be able to exit, right? But the fact that when that moment came and the timing of that ability and time of selling the cafe retail chain just matched in itself, and I exited together with my partners, and I moved on to my next phase of my journey. So that was how it all transpired. It was a domino effect, really. Nothing happens by chance. It was not just a one-off, like you said, a light bulb. It is a light bulb moment, but that light bulb sparked off a series of circuits that allowed me to move to the next phase of my life.
Yeah. And it's certainly about what you just said about living a business that generates lots of money to do something different, which impacts people and helps them. I think that's so much more fulfilling. Even if the money is less than that, it creates much more fulfillment and purpose rather than
Definitely.
just selling something or providing a service that just makes money for you. Let me ask you, so you said that your vision is to support 1 million women to own and love the F word. So I wanted to ask you about the F word, and which obviously you have made a very a very proper choice in that, because it stirs interest immediately.
Yes. So first and foremost, the F word means being fabulous, having freedom, financial independence, and family. Now, the reason why we have the F word is because women doesn't necessarily means you, like you talk about earlier on, you mentioned about it's all about profits, dollars and cents. It's not just about that. To do and bring a business online, there are many other reasons why a person brings their business online. It doesn't necessarily mean it's financial independence. It could mean to the person a freedom. It could mean to the person family. It could mean to the person being fabulous. So by having this F word allows the person to interpret in their minds what it means to them to succeed in the space they want to succeed in.
So that's 4 words then. It's not just one F word, it's 4 different ones.
Yeah, yes, it's
Just
4
try
F
to
words.
get that. Okay. So tell me, so obviously you have been through highs and lows of your entrepreneurial journey, and I'm sure you've had lots of experience. I want you to share with me one major aha moment you've had and one major mistake that you did during that journey.
My one aha moment was I can leverage time. When I was supporting myself through school since I was 14 years old, I was working really very hard because I wake up 5 a.m. in the morning to go to school. By the time I finish school, I teach. I teach at night. I teach as a yoga instructor and aerobics instructor to make a living. And then sometimes I do overtime, like do waitressing also over the weekends to supplement my studies. So I asked myself the question, what I could do to leverage my time. So I discovered that I could, in an hour, bring in different instructors and market it to corporate clients who need instructors at the same time across 5 different locations. So in an hour, I could make more than just me working for the hour itself. And that was an aha moment, like, hey, I could do this. And it worked. So in my school years, as I was growing my income as a student, I leveraged a lot of my time because I had to study for exams. And especially during exams period, I couldn't be working as many hours as I would love to. If not, I would have failed school. So I realized that I needed to leverage my time. So that was my defining moment where I learned how to leverage my time. I think one of the biggest mistakes was the one that you talk about, the 6-figure debt. And it was a failed partnership because I just do business with friends without any contract, any black and white. I think that should not be happening to anybody at all, because don't assume that friends will not turn into, enemies, I would say, because you never know our attitudes of wealth. I think that's very important. You may be very good friends. I'm not saying that it's for everyone, but you may be very good friends now. But when you go deeper into business, how are you going to do the business profits? How are you going to invest? If the company is not doing well, who is going to put in the money to continue to keep the company afloat? And if your shares is equal, you put in $10,000. Is the person going to put in $10,000 for the 50% of shares? So which one are you going to do? So when all these factors factored into the business, you will lose direction. And therefore, it must be clearly written who is the head and who is leading. So if you have a partner with friends, always, if you have a bigger shareholder, do a 51 to 49. Because if then you have a say, right? Final say in a voting or in a situation where you need to make a final decision. If not, then write down exactly if something happens. It's like a prenup, like basically putting it down first before it happens. So to me, that was the biggest mistake I have ever made. And that cost me 6 figures. And it was a lesson learned. But never turn your failures into a baggage. Turn your mess into your message, because by turning your mess into your message, then you give yourself a second chance. And that was why when I went into a cafe business, I had a black and white with my partners, and I knew exactly what was happening. And that was why when we eventually exited the business, I got my fair share of what profits and whatever that we've made. So when you turn your mess into a message, that is when your life is going to be transformed completely.
You know what they say, that out of a business relationship there can be a wonderful friendship, but out of a friendship, trying to make a business out of it, it doesn't really go very well. So
You
the
kind of
opposite.
dig a hole,
Genecia, I want you to tell me about Soul Rich Woman and this networking. Tell me how do you operate it and what is the purpose of it?
So we help women to go from offline to online primarily, and we focus, our business model is by membership. So it's a $12 a month membership. So right now we have 200,000 members. So we give them 2 videos a month and 2 masterclasses a month to get them started a bit more structured, because women don't need more information. There's a lot of information on the internet, but how exactly do you bring yourself from offline to online? So it's a structured learning with 2 videos every month to get them going. And then from then on, they will learn how to upgrade. They can upgrade through different ways, either through our digital products or through coaching and mentoring by our different team members. And that's how we build up Soul Rich Woman. Essentially, one thing and one thing only. As long as the woman wants and loves the F word, we can help them to get there. Whether is it making $1,000 to making $10,000 or making their freedom or making their family happy, this platform helps them to do just that.
So is it any particular avatar or kind of woman that would benefit from it, or is it more general?
We have 4 types. So the first type is the full-time business owner, the B2Bs. So the B2Bs are business owners who are not digital yet. They are looking for ways to get more clients online. So they don't really know how to do that. So with our Soul Rich Woman blueprint, we have a blueprint that guides them through that direction. The second type of clients we always have, the women, is B2C. That means they own fitness studios, have salons, they have like social media marketing agency. They want to find ways to market to clients, and they want to bring up their brand and to be seen as one of a leader. So that's why they will join us and generate leads, right? The third ones are what we call the 9-to-5 employees. They are full-time 9-to-5 employees, and then they're looking for a side hustle, and specifically to build their brand before they exit out of their 9-to-5, which is their rat race. So they will join Soul Rich Woman for that purpose. The last group of women are women entrepreneurs in transition. That means they have left their 9-to-5 job. They are transitioning into entrepreneurship. They are somebody when in the corporate world, but nobody after they leave the corporate world. So they want to build up their brand to be seen as a leader online, transitioning into an infopreneur or transitioning into a business owner, bring their products or services online.
I get it. That's great. Thank you for that. It's very informative. That's exactly what I was looking for. Let me ask you something different then, Genecia, because you are a fellow podcaster as well and passionate about podcasting. So can you tell me why is that?
Oh, I love it because I have never imagined that I could reach out to so many people across the world with podcasting. You see, the thing about Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram, I have 14,000 followers on LinkedIn, 200,000 followers on Facebook, and 50,000 followers on Instagram at this moment of the recording. And all of these are limited by the platform. That means no matter the number of followers you have right now, will it be the amount of Facebook ads you run, or maybe the LinkedIn ads you run to bring in new people to know you. But with podcasting, it's organic traffic. It literally, when your message is clear, your podcast is interesting, it serves them, they are more inclined to follow you. And that is worldwide. There is no blue dot, pink dot, purple dot that is limiting you on that particular platform. You could be tapping into platforms like, for example, Spotify, iTunes, Pandora, iHeartRadio, and each of the platform has got different types of traffic. And to me, traffic is key. If you are building a business online, getting your message heard, you want to have traffic. And these traffic are already there for you. So why not tap into this ready traffic? And especially in Asia, because podcasting is already big in the US and Europe already. But in Asia, we are very new. I just started podcasting in 2019. And in just 6 months, we are in 53 countries and 1,000 downloads every single month. How is that even possible? It would not have been possible if not with podcasting. And it allows me to share my message, to get people to be supported with the things I'm offering.
And actually, even though you have high energy anyway, when you started talking about the podcasting, you intensified your energy. So that was great to see. Why do you think someone should start a podcast? What would they need to have in order to start a podcast of their own? If you would give me some advice, someone would say, Genecia, should I start a podcast myself?
If you have a story to tell and you have lived your life and you have experiences, podcasting is never just about the technical bits. It's about storytelling, making yourself relatable to your audience so that they will connect with you and therefore eventually maybe buy from you, because there's always a customer journey. But if you're new, you're starting to look for whether you're thinking and considering a podcast, really, it's never about the technical. You don't really worry about microphone. You don't have to worry about your camera, but really worry and look into what do you want to say? Do you have a story to tell? And even though you think you have no content, don't worry. That if you have lived your year after year and where you're at right now, whether you're 20 years old, 30 years old, you've lived 30 years of your life, 50 years of your life, there is bound to be something to share. So start from there.
Absolutely. And that actually brings me nicely to my next question, which is one thing you talk about is being authentic online and being yourself. So explain this to me. How can someone be authentic?
The key
You know why
factors
I'm asking? Many people are very reluctant and they hold themselves back. They don't want to expose themselves out there. I'm sure you see that all the time.
Yes, I do see that, and a lot of people are secret agents. So they're either MI6 or if not, there's something else. So I can understand that. But truly, authenticity means owning your voice, owning your power, and telling the truth. That means whatever that you're sharing, don't copy from somewhere, right? Or don't be a mimic of someone else. Share something that is truly what you're offering. Give a piece of advice that you have gone through. If you, like for me, I've gone through 6-figure debt, right? I would share my story, and I will share not a sob story, okay? I will actually give you steps on how you can get out of a 6-figure debt and build up to a first $1 million. And that in itself is being authentic, because by first being vulnerable, owning your truth, and then knowing that someone else is just behind you. Someone else is always behind you and probably feeling a little bit lost, don't even know what's happening, how clueless about getting out of their credit card debts, clueless about failed partnerships. Your voice and your sharing through your experience and your story will save them, even without you knowing it, because you never know when that message is going to be heard or be touching their lives. So therefore, how does authenticity looks like? It looks just like as per what I've just said earlier.
That's great. Genecia, let me also ask you some quick fire questions as well to sum it up. What does personal development mean to you?
A growth mindset, never say die attitude, and really keep looking into owning your own truth and grooming the mind.
Grooming the mind, that's great. If you could, let's say you could go back in time and meet your 18-year-old self, what's the one piece of advice you would give her?
Find a mentor earlier. Stop complaining that it's expensive. It's never expensive, because you could triple and 10x your income by investing in the right mentor.
Very wise words indeed.
Yeah, because at that time, we would not think about spending $30,000 hiring a mentor. We would think, oh my God, Tony Robbins' course is so expensive. Date with Destiny, that's $20,000. But if you've started earlier, wow, your life could probably be transformed earlier.
Since you mentioned that, I wasn't planning on asking you, but since you mentioned Tony Robbins, what's your experience with him? Have you done any of his seminars or courses?
Yes, definitely. I've done his seminars, A Date with Destiny, and that is in Singapore. And that in itself really helped me because I had some thoughts I was going through in my mind. And by going through the program, that few mental blocks were being cleared. So I think it really depends on your own self. You must go in with an open mind and be willing to just go all out, 100%.
Yeah, he's. I think it's one of the names that drops in my interviews, in my conversations with people, more than any other name in the personal development world. So, and I'm not surprised. I'm a big
He's the
fan
godfather.
myself.
He's a godfather of personal development.
So let's say, going back to my other questions, let's say you had a magic wand and you could wave it and change something in the world as it is today. What would you change?
Oh, I will literally say world peace. Just look at the political situations now. I mean, I really pray for peace, because only then our businesses and economies can thrive, because we're all running businesses, right? If everybody is having a lot of situations right now in everybody's countries and there's wars happening, I don't think, our businesses is going to be thriving. So peace and harmony.
Very noble indeed. Is there something that you've changed your mind about the last few years?
I did. I was playing small. I wasn't ready to rise up as a leader, to go after and look into going into 1 million women. That number looks big, it looks impossible. So I realized that I was playing small. I'm just very comfortable, because I have everything that I need. I'm just happy being where I am. But you see, that's where the problem is. If you're happy and contented and just safe in your comfort zone, where's the growth mindset? So I actually had to embrace that growth mindset and growth leadership.
Fantastic. That's great. Genecia, is there anything you were hoping I would ask you today and I completely missed it?
Well, I would actually want to give the free gift to your listeners today.
That's very kind of you.
Yep. So it's two books that I've written. One is Secrets of Personal Branding, and it teaches you how to work your personal branding online in 7 steps. And that is one of my books, one of my bestsellers. And then the other one is a workbook that teaches one how to delegate 80% of your to-do list to an assistant so you can make money online. I run a team of 21. And that is only possible because I started delegating and I know how to function in my zone of genius. So I will love for everyone to experience that, to learn how to delegate as a solopreneur and starting with just $50. And that's all you need to start your journey of outsourcing and delegating 80% of your to-do list. And you can get to these 2 downloads at soulrichwoman.com, which is at SOULRICHWOMAN.com.
That's brilliant. Thank you very much. Is that where would you direct people to find out more about you as well? Or is there anywhere else that you could point people to?
Yes. So if you love today's episode, please connect with me personally at Genecia Alluora, GeneCiALluora. And you can find me on LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook.
And your podcast?
My podcast is soulrichwomanpodcast.com.
That's great for people to find out. I want to thank you very much for your time today and your knowledge and wisdom shared with us. I really appreciate it. I want to wish you all the very best with your mission to empower 1 million women. I'm sure that you're going to do it. Any last parting words?
Yes. Never give up. Give yourself a second chance. Go towards the dreams that you've always wanted to achieve, because alone you are strong, but together we are unstoppable.
That's fantastic. That's great. Thank you so much. Wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for listening. Please take a moment to subscribe, rate, and review Personal Development Mastery on Apple Podcasts. If you want to know more about me and how I can help you, join my Facebook group Personal Development Mastery. The link is in the show notes, or you can simply type bit.ly/PDM group. And until next time, stand out, don't fit in.